Hey everybody, the doors to the Viridian Tea House are open once more. I hope that wherever you are staying safe and your well-being is looked after. So I hope that this is going to be a short video today. I hope that this will make you smile maybe just a little bit. And if not, I can do some knock knock jokes or something, but I digress. So I have been reading like a mad woman lately, thanks to my library system, thanks to bookstores I keep discovering in the Denver metro area, and it's just been crazy. So I wanted to share a couple of the books that I've been reading, and I don't know, who knows, maybe you guys have read some of these books, or maybe you might feel inspired to check this out yourself. So the first one is my current read, and it is by one of my favorite authors, Allison Lurie, Real People. Right now, I'm only on page 40, but so far, this is so typical of her writing. It's kind of hard to put it. People keep telling me, or people keep saying that she's one of the best American female authors out there, and I kind of have to agree. So, from the back of this, it is, "Are those artists, Mom, or are they real people?" asked a child visiting Illyria, a luxurious retreat for successful and not so successful writers, painters, and musicians. Janet Bell Smith, a self professed sensitive lady writer, makes the same distinction. In her journal on the first day of her stay, she likens Illyria to heaven and its guests to gods or angels. But before much time has passed, she is comparing them to children, madmen, and demons. She has begun to make disturbing discoveries about almost everyone there, including her best friend, Kenneth Foster, Nick Donato, a quote unquote vulgar pop sculptor, and above all, herself and her own work. Real People is Alison Lurie's delightful comedy of scandals and squabbles in an artist colony, a revealing parable of modern literary and artistic life. I've only read one or two of her books and I fell in love. Like, the first book I ever read by her was called The Truth About Lauren Jones. I highly recommend looking that book up if you're looking for something new to read. But yes, my current read is Alison Lurie, Real People. So next, so let me just start off by saying that I have had a love-hate relationship with this next author. I love her work, and at the same time, I didn't like it. And then I realized that it was all on me, that my perception of it really didn't give it justice. So recently I've gone back and I'm starting to reread her books and I'm discovering things that I never read the first time I read them. So this is called The Tattooed Map by Barbara Hodgson. This is a phenomenal book, by the way. It will probably take you maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours to read it, or maybe even less than that if you're a speed reader. But the really cool thing about Barbara Hodgson is that she works or worked or still works with Nick Bantock. If you aren't familiar with that name, as you'll see in my pile later, he was the one responsible for the Griffin and Sabine series, the really esoteric books that you couldn't really put them in a genre, and they had the little postcards and stamps that looked otherworldly. Well, apparently the two of them worked for a publishing house or a book binding company or something like that. So her work is very much like his, but this, The Tattooed Map, is a phenomenal read. The first time I read this, I couldn't appreciate it. I don't know why. Like I said, maybe my mindset and my own creativity hadn't blossomed or evolved or whatever. But reading from this one, let's see. Somewhere in northern Africa, a woman traveler awakens with a mysterious mark on her hand, a mark that soon grows into a tattoo. So begins the enigma of the tattooed map, in which intrepid traveler Lydia journeys with her friend and former lover, Christopher, to Morocco in search of antiques and adventure. Lydia records her daily experiences in a journal, keeping track of hotel addresses and conversations, and pasting such flotsam and jetsam as maps, photographs, and drawings into her diary. She records her shock and dismay as the marks on her hand reveal themselves to be a detailed map of an unknown territory. Later, a cryptic Moroccan man explains the map's connection to a spiritual and physical journey she must make. When Lydia disappears unexpectedly, Christopher takes up her diary to record his search for her and for a way to unravel the riddle of the tattooed map. Like I said, this was an incredible read the second time around, and I'm so glad that I rediscovered her works. And actually, I have another one of her books on my bookshelf, so I'm looking forward to it. So, the third book, speaking of Nick Bantock, and I just finished it yesterday, is called The Museum at Purgatory. And yes, it is literally about the museum that's in Purgatory. This is written from the curator. His name is Non, N-O-N, and he gives you a detailed tour of each of the different rooms of the museum, which, according to him, Purgatory is always shifting and changing, and even the museum is ever expanding and contracting and changing. But this was a great read. Again, a love-hate relationship with Nick Bantock because the first time I read the Griffin and Sabine series, I thought, okay, I see why people enjoy it, but I read his other works, still the same thing. And in fact, I kind of pushed them out of my mind for several years. Well, in moving to Colorado and some personal things that have happened to me recently, I'm taking another look at Nick Bantock, Barbara Hodgson, and also the Sandman series by Neil Gaiman, which, by the way, if you haven't read it, I highly recommend it. But in reading The Museum at Purgatory, something inside of me kind of woke up, or actually something had already come to light, I guess. And in reading The Museum of Purgatory, it just kind of expanded upon it. So, again, if you are into books that really can't be classified, except that was an interesting read, and I really want to keep the book, and I really want to read more that this author has done, then I highly recommend The Museum of Purgatory by Nick Bantock. And now the final book, which I read in the course of several hours in one day, is The Invention of Hugo, Cabre by Brian Selznick. Now, I do want to say that I had the pleasure of meeting Mr. Selznick. He did a book signing for a book that I think he wrote and he also illustrated, and it was a part of Walt Whitman's Leaves of Grass. There have been recent discoveries that there were parts of Leaves of Grass that dealt with his homosexual nature. And so that particular book, I think it's called Live Oak with Moss or something like that. Anyway, it was a phenomenal read. And I had heard so much about this book. And I thought, why not? So I found it, devoured it, and it's just incredible. I know that there's a movie based on this book. I think it's just called Hugo. But if you are looking for whimsical tales with incredible illustrations by Brian Selznick, I highly recommend The Invention of Hugo Cabre. Great book. And this leads me to the second part. So this deals with the cinema of France, which leads me to my newest tea blend, which is called French Cinema Tea Blend. And I'm going to see if I can show this to you without spilling it. But let's get right there. Can you smell it? Smell it. This tea blend is made with Baimudan white tea, watercress, lemon peel, and spearmint. I just brewed some for myself and the director of art for Viridian Tea Company. And as he put it, and I quoted this on the Etsy store, it is light and minty with a hint of citrus at the end. And that's exactly what it is. So one thing about white tea, because it's the least processed, I think it's the most delicate. So I try to tell people, if you want to steep white tea, do it for about a minute, maybe two. If you do it any longer, it might be a little bit bitter, but then again, it all depends on what kind of white tea you get. I steeped this for about 2 minutes, and both of us immediately got the mint and the citrus at the end. However, I let just a little bit of it steep even longer, and then I tried it again. You have more of the citrus and then the mint and then the watercress, which watercress kind of has like a little spicy bite to it. It's really good. I've had it in some tea blends before. Watercress is also known as nasturtium. So watercress, nasturtium, the same thing. But the longer you let the French cinema tea blend steep, the more you're going to get the grassy, spicy part of the watercress. The white tea just kind of stays in the back. It's like that delicate canvas, and all the other ingredients are like the different paints. But all in all, this is a great blend. I mean, not just because I blended it, but this is actually quite good. And like I said, with white tea, since it has less caffeine than green or black, you can really kind of enjoy this all throughout the day, unless if you're sensitive to caffeine. I never want to push that on anyone who's sensitive to caffeine. So once again, my new tea blend is called French Cinema Tea Blend, and it is available on the Etsy store right now. The label has the Eiffel Tower, Le Tour Eiffel, on it, and oh yeah, one more thing too before I end this video, which leads me to something else. So I talked on Facebook about a new service that I was going to offer at farmers markets and any kind of event where I'm in person. And that is this. If you purchase from me and then you come back with your empty bags, I will actually have containers of loose leaf tea of the different blends with me, maybe 1 to 3 different blends. If you fill your bag, it's only going to be $4. That's it. That's just for repeat customers only. So this Saturday is the farmers market in Golden, Colorado, home of Coors Beer. Had to say that. But I will be bringing probably more French cinema and also quantum mechanics, and I think maybe T-Muse. I'm not sure. Yeah, why not? I'll just do those three. So if you are watching this and you are going to visit the Golden Farmers Market this Saturday, I will have loose French cinema, loose quantum mechanics, which is another one of my white tea blends, and loose tea muse, which is one of the blue blends with the butterfly pea flower. If you bring your empty bags, you can fill them up for $4. That's it. So it's my way of saying thank you. And actually, I have to give mad props to my director of art. He's the one that came up with the idea. He said, this is Colorado. They're all about recycling. They're all about being conscious regarding the environment, regarding consumption. And I thought, that's a really good idea. So, once again, if you come to the Golden Farmers Market and you've been a customer with me before, bring your empty bags and you can fill them with whatever tea I bring for the week for $4. So, I hope to see you soon. Anyway, I know I kind of rushed through a whole bunch of stuff, but I hope that you enjoyed this video. I always enjoy making these things, even in the middle of the Delta variant and Hurricane Ida and just problems all over the world. I hope that these little videos give you a small reason to smile. So let's end with a quick breathing meditation. So get into a comfortable position, whether you're sitting down, laying down, standing up straight. And after a while, just drop your shoulders and close your eyes. Take a deep breath in and out. One more time. Deep breath in and out. Resume your normal breathing. And for this meditation exercise, let's think about a time this week, recent, where you wronged someone. It could have been a misunderstanding. It could have been anything. Maybe you felt shame or regret or embarrassment or anger. But I hope that whatever happened, that there were apologies. People were able to speak their mind without resorting to yelling or screaming. And maybe it just came to the fact that you agreed to disagree. But hopefully it was resolved. Maybe you came out better for it. Or maybe they did. Maybe you both did. And now, in wrapping up this small meditation, just take a deep breath in and out. One more deep breath in, and then when you exhale, really stretch it out. Just let all of your tension just go out with the exit breath. Slowly open your eyes and welcome back. Thank you again for watching all these videos regarding my tea house. I know it's crazy and silly and I make mistakes, but I don't know. I just want to kind of spread the word about tea and books and just being yourself and enjoying it and taking a few minutes to unwind and just anyway. I hope to see some of you at the Golden Farmers Market this Saturday, and every Saturday. It actually ends in October. And also coming up this month, this is all online, but it's the Order of the Good Death's Mortals Market. Actually, I think the next video is going to be more about that. But until then, take care, raise your teacup high, and I'll see you soon. Bye.